So next sort of phase of step for K bag is we start thinking about the electronics. So I kind of looked ahead. I've started putting in the Velcros, but I thought before I put in my electronics, I think it might be a good opportunity here to do an upgrade. Now crawlers, as you know, we're taught going out in the mud and etc etc. So no crawler will be complete without doing inner fenders or the inner mudguards or wheel arches. So I did take it upon myself to buy the mudguards and sets. So I've cut these out just the same as you would do with any body, and then sprayed them in black. So I've got the whole set here, and I think it's a good opportunity here to do this because you've got to take some of the screws and things out of the chassis in order to get these fitted in, because you've got these screw holes here. So yeah, and I also took the liberty at the same time as doing these ones, looking ahead for this step 3. You've got the body stiffeners, and I've done those in the black as well. So I've just got to take the protect shield off, so it makes it nice and well, yeah, you can see, look, it looks nice and shiny, and let's get these installed, and I think I'll show you how and where these are installed on each one. So I believe that this one is the fronts, that goes on the fronts, because you've got these 3 connections that connect to the chassis on the fronts, and these are the rears, and then these are the ones that go between the front and rears. So yeah, let me show you how they mount, and I'll mount these ones when we get to step 3. But yeah, just wanted to let you know that I bought these. I think it was about £20, £25, something like that for the whole set, and then you just polycarbonate spray paint as you do. Right, very easy. Let's show you how they go. So let's take a look at the manual that you get with the mudguards, wheel arches, and you'll see here it talks about on the front, which is the G00190. Well, that's this one. That's with these 3 holes at the front that you have to pop in. You get 2 of those, so one for the left and one for the right, of course. And they technically will go that way around on the car at the front. Same again for the rear. So these are the ones which are the G00191. So you get 2 of those, and again these go like that, and then you've got these ones which go in the middle. So these are your G00192s, and they go on the that way around. Yep, and they go between the 2 down the side of the car. So we've got to fit these to the car. I'm going to see if I can get this on video, because it's quite important that you get this in the right place. So I may need to bring my camera, my phone camera, down a little bit lower so I can see. Alrighty. So here's our chassis, and this side is the front of the chassis, as you can see with the steering servo, and this is the back of the chassis. So the front ones are going to go on like this. Let me get the right one for you. So it's going to effectively go like this on the chassis. Okay, so what we've got to do is we've got to take out this countersink one here and here, and these 3 at the front, and then put this into place, and then screw them back through again, so that they then hold this piece in place. And I've got to do that on both sides of the front of the chassis. Okay, so you can see how that goes. It's quite simple. So we take out these 5 screws and put this on place and screw it back in. So what I've done is I've taken out the 2 screws off the side here, so that the suspension system has fallen away, as you can see. All right, so now what we've got to do is those 2 countersunk screws, pop those through the wheel arch, Okay, so that they're through the wheel arch. Now we know where they are, so you can just see I've made the screw holes purposely tight so that it'll make it a bit easier for me to hold the screws in place. So just cut them 3mm, that's what I did. So now we've got that there. Let's see if I can get this on video and show you. You have to excuse me as I got my hands in here. So now we've taken off our suspension support, as you can see. So we now need to get this in place, and it's holding everything and at the same time. So let's see what we can do. Trying to do this on video is a little bit more challenging because you're trying to think. So there we are. So let's pop that in place, and we should be able to collect that first hole, which we have, and then again collect that second hole, which we have. So I've just put that on there loosely so you can see now that that's in place. So I'm just going to take these other 3 chassis screws out. So I'm just going to put this one out so I can twist this away. And then hopefully what that will do is that we can get those other 3 chassis screws and pop them through, and that'll hold it in place. Okay, so let's see if we can get this back in place again. So now taking those 3 chassis screws at the front out. So let's get this in place. Let's grip those. So these 3 at the front, let's do them again. So let's pop out onto our, and then pop that through. And that should bite in. It is. And I'm just going to put the others in at the same time because I don't want to put everything in, tighten everything up, and it's all the way around. So let's just pop that in there, and I'm trying to do this at the same time as showing you how it goes. And then last screw right at the very front. You'll have to excuse my fat fingers. We'll try and, as you can see, it's not easy to hold the chassis at the same time, so trying to get this on video so you can see it. There we are. So all I'm going to do now is run through and tighten all of those up again, and then that will tighten that chassis, that will tighten it to the chassis, and that's bit done. So simple case of just tightening everything back down again now. So what I've done is I've now just run through these runs right at the very beginning. You only need to be finger tight because they're only holding that cross member bar on. This third one here, that's going into that main thing, that can be nipped up nicely, and then these 2 that go through the suspension upright, give them a good tighten up so they're nice and tight. There we are. I've got to do the same again for the other side of that. For this side, I've got to do the same again. It's exactly the same. Okay, right. And there you are. So all I've done exactly the same as the other side. The 3 screws, taken those off, placed that in place and screwed back into place. So now you have the 2 front ones, and the rear ones are again exactly the same type of thing. Taking off the 2 countersunk screws here and this one at the rear so that you can screw that into place there. Okay, so it's pretty much the same for the rear. I'll do those. I won't bore you with the same principles. The front ones were a lot more difficult in terms of number of screws than the rear. So I'll do the rear ones and just show you what it looks like, because it's just a case of removing the two here, the two countersink ones, and this pan head one at the end, and then placing this in top and re-screwing. Okay, so I'll show you that. Try and hold this in place. It's a lot quicker when you don't have to do it on film and hold everything in place, because you can put the model in your lap, etc., to do what you need to do, whereas on film you'll kind of hold everything in place at the same time, so it's always a bit more tricky. But anyway, let's see if we can do it for you. There we are. So there's that hole for the rear fender. Go through the suspension arm, which is there, and now we've got to line it up with the chassis. Like that, and that gets a couple of threads in, so that holds it in place. And the same again. There we are. And a case of just screwing these back down again so that they're in place. And as you can see, it takes no time at all for these ones. They're a bit easier than the fronts. Less screws, I think, there. There we are. And done. There we are. So that's now the back ones in place. I've now got to show how to do the central one, and I'll do the same again. I'll put one in place and then I'll try and show you that last one. Okay, here we go. So you're going to try and get the internal guard again on this side for you. I've done the other side over here already, so I'm going to try and show you one how it's done. So I'm just going to take out these center screws and again take out the one for the top links, and it also goes through to the skid plate at the side. So we're going to take those off like that. So it kind of leaves the chassis a bit loose. Now we get our guard. Oh, that way around, get the way around, and this goes through these holes here, and this goes through this hole here. Hopefully you're getting this on the camera, so you can find out when we go to play it back. But yeah, and you can see I've kind of made those holes tight so that it holds the screws for me. I've done that on purpose so that it does. It's not tight, but it's snug. So there you are. So they're through. Now we've got to get these back through the hole and collect on here. We've got to collect the top and that one here as well. So that one there and that one there. There we go. So they go through there, and then we've got to collect the top links like we did before. And we've also got to get, not forgetting, that's got to go underneath this one. There we are. There we go. So if I tip that up, you kind of like that, and then we screw that back through. So I've had to come a bit closer because I'm wearing glasses, and then we'll catch those and center screws. Right, so I'm just gonna get over here and catch these top links again, and then we'll be able to screw this together. So turned the chassis upside down for ease of working, and get this bottom link in place. And sometimes you might just need to hold these with the pliers while you do it. You need to catch the threads. There we go. That's the one there. And we need to do the same again on this side. And while I'm here, as it's going into the bottom ball link, I've pushed the screw all the way through. I'm just putting a little bit of thread lock on the screw end before I screw it into the ball joint. So just put a little bit of thread lock on, just a tiny bit on the end. Bring our top link back over again. And then that way you're not getting that thread lock on the plastic. There we go. There we are. I'm just going to use this plier just so I can nip it up. And then last but not least, hopefully you're getting this on camera as well. You're seeing where I'm screwing. This is, again, we're upside down. Popping that through, and that goes into the central chassis, and the other one there, pop that through as well. And then hopefully I can turn you around and you can see what I've done. So nip those up again, finger tight, don't go too mad, going into the plastic here. And yeah, just need to screw to the tightness and then a quarter to a half turn more. That's it. So if I turn that up right the other way around, there you go. That's now in place. That's the inner fenders upgraded. Right, now that we've done a upgrade while we're building the car, so like I say, now I've got the interior fenders on the car, as you can see, are nicely installed. We can go back to K bag and part 2, where we've put the battery straps in, and we've also made this a little bit longer so that it travels to the back of the car. We can now put in our electronic speed controller, which is this guy here, which will stick there, and our receiver, which is this guy here, which will also stick at the back here. And we then got to put in our switch, and this is the cable that would go through. So yeah, our electronic speed controller is double-sided taped into place, and we then got to tidy up the wires. So it's a case of place your double-sided tape on there and position this, and you've got to position this so you've got the cables routing but neatly, but we're going to need to make sure they reach. So I'm going to put this more towards the front of this back plate, so about here, so it's nice and straight. And not forgetting our receiver, where we are, nice and easy step as well. And this double side tapes into the back here, and I'm going to put this right on the back at this end as well. So there we are. So that's in place as well now. There we go. This cable will reach quite easily to our port to collect. I believe it should be, the port should be here for the thing, but double check. I will double check myself on that. And the switch port. So we've got to mount our switch, and remember, this is our special switch, which is also a Bluetooth switch, so I somehow got to mount this within the car as well. So gonna need to find a suitable location for that. I could put it on one of these, whatever we need to do, so I can reach in and press the button and turn it on and off. I could do that, so I need to put that in, but the step really just refers to the ESC and the receiver. So that's now in place. We can move on to the next step, which is part 3. Okay, so we're continuing on with bag K, and we're now on step 3. And step 3 is all about installing our front bumper and installing these body stiffeners that go on the outriggers of the chassis. So to do that, we need a little bit of hardware. So we need these M2.5 by 14 millimeters to screw through and screw this onto the front, and we need 4 of these M3 by 10 millimeter pan heads and these M3 locking nuts to screw the stiffeners through the side riggers. And yeah, this basically just goes on the side there and screw up and through, so it's quite straightforward. Of course, we need our chassis. Okay, this is our chassis. And yeah, I haven't put the wheels on yet. I'll put them on in a moment because they're pushing the wheels on and just slot them on now. And M4 nuts as well. So it's kind of getting there. Wow. Okay. So yeah, there we are. You can see we've got body stiffeners in place now, both sides. Again, just a couple of screws up and through, and the front bumper on. So that's on and ready. Like I say, I've got some tidying up and some cables to do and things. Got to connect these up, so it's just a case of just a case of pop on like that, and that connects your motor up. That's easy enough. And we've got to put the wheels on. So the next step, step 4, which is the really effectively the last step for chassis building, is putting the body mounts in, and they screw in these posts here. Righty, so we're now on the last step for the chassis bits, and this is step 4 of bag K. We need our uprights. These are the uprights. Now we are going to need to adjust these and cut these to length, but I need to wait until I've done the body for that. We got these spacers that go on top of the body mount, so you can see here there's a little bit here that goes on top, and then the pin goes through, so when it sits on top of your body, it sits like that, and you can put your pin through. But there's a case of using these 2.5 mil the 2.5 by 12 mil pan heads and screwing through a relevant hole, but I say we'll adjust these, but I'll get them on the car so you can see a simple step, screwing and putting things through. And here we go, just putting a last one in now of these body mount uprights, and it's a case of screwing your 2.5 by 12 pan head all the way through, and it's simple as that. Nice and easy step. I've done all 4, and effectively that's your chassis completed. Just got to, like I say, tidy up the cables, but there we are, the SCA-1E chassis complete. Just got to put the body on now. Right, now for the body.